on the market. If you're looking for its actual name, is Bentonite. According to the experts, 50% of pregnant women are anemic due to the intake of burnt clay. However, producers of the burnt clay are of the view that it has some benefits if not eaten excessively. We bring you a report by Addo.
It is 5 a.m. at Hearts Park in Accra, but Auntie Christy, an Ayilo producer, has been out since dawn. She uses simple gadgets like trays and strainers that make it easier for her Ayilo baking business. The hollow trays and strainers allow smoke from the fire pot containing palm fruit fiber to spice up the Ayilo, giving it a natural flavor. This age-old baking practice guarantees her the best yield. Ayilo is mined in the depths of the earth and contains chemical elements such as aluminium, arsenic, boron and nickel. It is mostly mined in parts of the Volta region, especially Amfuega, where the freshly mined clay soil is molded into lumps, oven baked and distributed to markets.
I started almost 10 years. Now, you're Kuromono, and I Juma, and you call a Bremen and Yama minimum, and no more, yeah, and no more shares, and yes, we are near. And I see the fairy banum. Binubaha, yes, we are the big forma or Binumo crew. Your customers who are number one or more. So, I'm afraid, nay, to come and they come home.
She says she has been able to raise her 2 children up to tertiary level through this business.
The Yasika woman, the share Banamo school. My sister, Bakula, way. I love way or the share in Bassa or we investing. Miss Usa, I know I'm the share me back. On also call school, be media school.
Mary is her sister and shares a similar story.
Say, I dare cause to say na ye dinu obi wo ho awon dinu sa ade no wo ho say wudi a eye akondo enti wudi a wo betumi adidi enya ohwi obi wo ho awo hu we ya wo di bebre no no nsi oguso asan on didi de obesan yes akomusan de no asan fa bi adi na emanu yade so enye no ankasa na ema yade wa na gi yade ago.
But what benefits can one get from eating Ayilo?
Almost saying yeah a short moja. But when you're finding saying it's me dog at the moment now.
I bought a quantity of Ayilo to use it as a visual aid to teach them. Okay. And the next moment I couldn't even find Ayilo on my table. And I was suspecting one of the pregnant women just picked it away.
Statistics from health experts indicate that about 50% of pregnant women are anemic due to the intake of this baked clay. They also say eating Ayilo can interfere with healthy foods eaten by people, leading to nutritional deficiencies.
Ayilo is clay, okay? It has certain metals or elements, okay, that when it goes into our body, inhibit the absorption. Ayilo, usually the nutritional content in it, we have this non-nutritive substances that when it goes into our body, binds to the iron of pregnant women, and at the end of the day, because it's bound to their iron, it results in anemia. So education is ongoing. So there has been the introduction of the pregnancy school as one of our strategies to reduce our high anemia rates within the sub-metro. Our aim is to reduce maternal mortality and then infant mortality, and then health for all, or adequate good health for everyone. You see, yes. So if they combine it, I'll be very happy.
The persistent attitude of eating non-nutritional substances, health experts say, is not limited to pregnant women alone. According to them, the only way the situation can be brought under control is the ban of the products on the market, as there is no known treatment for this eating disorder.
That was a report by Addo. We go on to another story. In the University of Ghana Stadium, which formed part of the projects for the 2008 African Cup of Nations, has not been complete. And you remember all the buzz around the Cup of Nations at the time. The Ministry of Sport says it is handicapped in terms of funding, hence the halting of the project. Our reporters Joseph Armstrong and Addo have this report.
The Legon Stadium formed part of the projects for the 2008 African Cup of Nations but was halted after 80% completion. It was close to impossible getting access to the stadium, but we managed to get some shots. We sought to find answers from the Ministry of Youth and Sports on the current state of the Legon Stadium.
The Legon Sports Stadium, it's also on the drawing board and it also will be tackled. Recently, the ministry went round, spearheaded by the minister, to meet with certain corporate institutions towards support for the sports development, with the stadia and then the human resource development key on that agenda. So I think we have a long way to go, but as every long journey begins with the first step, the minister is not leaving any stone unturned to get these things going. And I believe the rate at which we are going, if we continue at that pace, we will make a lot of progress.
The Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Uto Plaha, confirmed that the stadium formed part of the stadia that benefited from CAN 2008. He, however, added that though the ministry is willing to complete the Legon Stadium soon, the ministry is currently handicapped.
The problem is the ministry, for a period of time now, has been the budget of the ministry is not sufficient. 2015, we asked for 200 million cedis, and then we had 36. It has been scaled down 40% less in this current year, with 22 million. And then, we have 3 agencies under us. So taking all things into consideration, when you make all those deductions, we are left.
The 12,000-seater edifice, when completed, would have a synthetic tartan track, waterproof pitch, porcelain floor tiles, and a 14 stations TV broadcasting system.
Now, we are going to bring you the countdown to the elections with Ben Epson, who's got taps on everything you need to know as we head to the polls later this year. Just to remind you that we have 139 days, 5 hours, 49 minutes and 3 seconds more to the election. Here's Ben Epson with a countdown.
EIB Election Hub. Expect more.
Last week, Friday, we showed our 100th program of Countdown. So this is 101. We've got about 99 more to go. By the time we get to maybe 3 weeks before elections, if you're watching this program, you have a fair idea of where heads will roll, so that you don't get hypertension or you don't ask for ambulance 2 days after voting. One credit I must give the MPP for this year, that they'll be more tactical. They've refused to put their eggs in the Ashanti and Eastern region baskets, and they've been going to areas which are considered no-go area in terms of getting votes, the Volta region. The 3 northern regions have been considered strongholds of the NDC. People may not realize there are 2 ways to deal with strongholds of your competitors. A lot of persons from the 3 northern regions are down south. So if you are trying to campaign, you should not go to Northern Region and think if you campaign in Tamale and Yendi, you are finished. You must appeal to their needs across the country. For example, 18% of persons in Greater Accra come from the 3 Northern regions. Branga Hafo, nearly 31%, Ashanti region, another 18%. So the NPP can improve if they do a few things. For example, in 2012, the NDC lost 4 seats just because angry activists decided to contest as independent parliamentary candidates. Given the fact that, for example, quite a number of Ashanti, Greater Accra, Western Central, and Branga Hafo, if you strike the average, about 21% of persons in these 5 regions come from the 2 or 3 regions. Then you need to realize that you must be able to appeal to them, not because they live there, but where they are across the country. The reverse also applies for the NDC. The MPP has been getting on the average 38 to 39% of their votes from the Ashanti and Eastern regions. The NDC is emboldened to ask for Chepe 50-50 because they've been doing well in Eastern region. In 2004, the NDC got 38.4. 2008 first round, it got to 41.1%. And then 2012 got to 42.6. What I'm sure the NDC will do is what the MPP will do in NDC strongholds, is to appeal to people, especially the Eastern region being very diverse. About 18% of those in Eastern region are Chimps, 17% are Ewes, and about 16% are Gadangbis. So you need to look at this thing, and I mean, I'm sure NDC, they are saying 50-50. If they get from 42%, if they get 46%, they will be very happy. For tomorrow, is it possible we have a runoff? Whether the election is November 7th or December 7th. See you.
EIB Election Hub. Expect more.
Do stay tuned to the show. We'll be back in a chat. Remember to join the conversation using the hashtag State of Affairs, and we'll be happy to read it. Of course, those messages will be brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the show. And as I told you earlier, tonight we are discussing, the issues that I ran by you earlier with Mike Okwe Jr. He's a Deputy Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, and also Kofi Adams, the National Organizer of the NDC. You're both welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And I have to say a big thank you to Kofi Adams for my cake.
Oh, Nanaba.
Yeah, I had to.
You brought this
and Mike
didn't
call to wish me a happy birthday, so I just have to let people know.
Yes, Nanaba,
because Mike knows I'm such a birthday person.
I know, and I am too. Last year, I had the privilege of wishing you a happy birthday and enjoying the occasion with you. So I think on this occasion, I swapped with
Yes,
I swapped with my brother.
To represent the two.
And by the way, he's looking very, very handsome today with a pink touch.
Such a beautiful pink, yeah.
Apparently, pink makes the girls wink. So
that's
I guess
true.
It's very,
and real men wear pink.
Well,
yeah.
Kofi,
I just
real
have to
man.
say.
Congratulations.
Anyway, let's get into our issues for tonight. If you've been following the stories throughout the day, Nana Akufo-Addo is in the central region. He's campaigning, and he says that he will build 216 factories across the country if he is elected as president in the November elections. Well, during the campaign as well, he had reason to talk about corruption, and he said that he is incorruptible and will never take bribe or a gift from anyone. Well, tonight, my gentleman here will help us to discuss both issues. Kofi, I'll come to you first about the factories. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of people mention, some say it's doable, some say it's not doable. We know some of the things that Addo has said in the past. He mentioned the Northern Development Authority. We heard a lot of people say it was not possible. Then we realized that SADA could be possible. He talked about free SHS. Some said it was not doable. Then along the line, it is being implemented, free SHS. So what is your take on the factories or industries? I'm tempted, Mike will shed more light on this, because I'm tempted to believe that probably the word Addo was looking for was industry and not necessarily factories in every district. Anyway, so.
You want to start with
yes,
okay. Even though he will shed more light on it. Okay, let me greet your viewers this evening and wish you a belated happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
And also, let me take this opportunity to wish our MP for Lejo Kuku, who is also one of our deputy ministers, Sena Okitidua, a happy birthday. Today is also her birthday.
Oh, fantastic. She and Stephen Kai.
And ahead to wish the Opemu himself
yes,
a happy
Rawlings.
birthday in advance, because I will not be here tomorrow to do so. I celebrate him and then salute him. He's such a great man.
Yeah, he is. He said things that some people said is not possible. Yeah, he was castigated.
For example, the issue of SHS being free. That is what now makes me believe that Addo don't read. Okay. He doesn't. Because if he actually was reading, he would not be claiming free SHS to be his policy. This is something that is vividly captured in our Constitution and has almost a timeline implementation process. So the issue of free SHS is not an Addo thing.
But today, you see, we
please.
Allow this. So when you say it's in the Constitution, captured in a timeline, then you show us the provision. But you can't just say it, please. So if you won't check him, that one they won't allow it. No.
Mike.
So let him show us the provision.
You've started. So when I do it,
Yeah.
I hope that you won't complain, because I know
Mike,
how to do it.
Let him land.
So I'm surprised that Addo will be claiming credit for something that has been captured in our Constitution. That is his idea. Indeed, the Constitution actually captures all the way up to tertiary level the issue of progressive free education. It captures all the way to the tertiary level. And so I would be absolutely surprised that after having had the first president of the Fourth Republic serving his 2 terms, the second president serving his 2 terms, the third president serving his term, and we were going for the 6th election of a constitution that captures free education all the way to tertiary level. Addo will be claiming credit as being the one who introduced free education. So it could not have been Addo. And that was why we made a strong argument then that access is a major challenge than cost. We need to look at addressing access so that which will lead to quality, and then the free in its entirety will come. And that was where we promised a number of secondary schools, because the basic schools project was already ongoing. the elimination of schools under trees, that was reducing the contact hours that a lot of kids were having. So the Addo cannot, will not claim credit to that. Then now, yet again, another promise and wanting to claim credit about industrialization. Industrialization and local industry is not an idea of the Addo. Indeed, the reason for the NDC project of rural electrification is to improve local industry.
Well, but Addo has a big ambition, if I may chip in.
You see,
he says that he wants to industrialize this economy. He wants to move us from where we are, which is at the primary level, and make it an industrial hub. That's his ambition. So when he talks about those 216 industries or factories, I guess that's what he's
you know, 216 includes Tema. So Addo is going to industrialize Tema.
Well, I'm sure he has a plan for.
He's going to industrialize Tema. He's the one that's going to industrialize Tema. 216 includes Tema. It includes a lot of districts that I must say already are very industrialized.
So he will improve.
He's going to industrialize those ones also. You see, when you are attempting to present a lie thinking that you can promise anything, it's like you meet a very beautiful lady and you see her walking. And you think that maybe, oh, this lady walking should possibly be riding either a bicycle, a motor, or a car and not be walking. And so you decide to start promising anything on this earth to her, with the belief that that is what is going to convince her, without even checking to know that possibly she was just trying to exercise, and that she has more than what it is that you may be promising. You see, you don't industrialize without some foundation. Industrialization is not like magic. When we were young, we used to have this magician called Oribojo. He would let you carry a container on your head, they will cover it, and then he can charm, and then it will turn to a ghetto blaster. He says if you are touching yours, yours will not turn. Some people were not like theirs were not turning. Whether it was true or not, we were kids, we were just watching. Industrialization needs some foundation, and that's what I was building on, that the NDC project of rural electrification is to industrialize our small communities. I grew up in a village, and so I would always use it as a basis. Those times in my small village, if you were making a furniture, some portions of the furniture that you are going to make, you need to move it from that point to the next bigger town, which was Hohwe. Sometimes you may not even get, you have to bring it all the way to Ho to get such a facility done for you, because you needed electricity. Today, as I speak, in that little village, most of those jobs can be completed there. Carpenters used to work, and by 5 p.m. they have to close. Otherwise, they have to get what we call the gas lamp, a lamp that you put kerosene in, and then you can light it, and it is brighter than the bobo. You have to get it around to be able to work. The extension of electricity to these communities has enabled this carpenter to even do more furniture faster and work 24/7 if he so wants. There are basic things every community or every person who wants to establish an industry or anywhere will look for. Because labor is one, raw material, infrastructure. Are the roads good? Do you have power? Is there water? Is there health, so that workers, people will be working there when they are sick, they will have access to health care? Do we have good schools that workers who will come there, their kids will have to go to school? These are things that government has focused on, because that is what, as a government, you must do. You build the roads, you build the schools, you extend water, electricity, health facility. Then the private persons will have all these things being there. Okay. Then they will be able to.
So basically, what you are saying is that Addo's plan is
It's not a Nanadoya plan that he will be taking.
Well, it's his campaign message. It's a message he's going across the country, telling the electorate. Because you lot keep saying that what is his message? And he brings up his message, and it's a lot of criticism.
It's not a message for him.
Okay. Let me go to Michael Quay now. Mike.
Yes, thank you very much.
Before you even get into that, I mean, factory or industry?
Industry. I mean, and we've captured this industry, of course. Some people understand industry to mean factory. So if a journalist goes to put it in that way, fine. I mean, if you explain it to somebody.
So what he was talking about was industry.
Yes, and not just industry. You see, with industry, we have small scale, we have medium, and we have large scale. There are various things like cottage industry, which has helped countries like India grow to the level they are at the moment. And so these are the kind of transformational things that we're talking about. But let me start by saying a very good evening to my brother Kofi, to your good self for hosting us here, and your viewers.
You do me as now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to apologize on that. Better behavior next time. And to your lovely listeners and viewers as well. Now, Ghana as a country and MPP as a party, we've had a history. One of the things that we've believed in is being able to set up what we call rural projects. And why have we always wanted these rural projects? It's just for one simple reason. We believe that there's a big problem, which is the rural-urban drift.
Yep.
People drifting from the rural areas coming into these urban areas. And why is it that people are doing that? It's because of jobs. One of the biggest things is Kaya Ye and so on and so forth. We don't want this to be a fight with our opponents. We want this to be a sharing of ideas. Because I would tell you that on 2 occasions, and I'm very happy that my brother brought this out, that yes, it has been sort of mentioned in the Constitution. And that's why I wanted him to refer to it. That a brilliant student, for example, he doesn't reinvent the wheel. He looks at what he has studied. You and him will study the same thing, but he will answer the question differently. Nanado has looked at our Constitution, he has looked at our laws, and realized that the implementation of this is something that would help the country. Because other parties may have even mentioned it before, but they've done nothing about it. And why is that? We saw that rural development is what will help us. If you remember, in 1969, the first Ministry of Rural Development ever in this country was set up by our antecedents. That is the PP under Dr. Kofi Abrefa Buzia. Now, what is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo talking about? Nana Addo says that there are a few problems. 1, there's a rural-urban drift. 2, we lack employment. 3, we need to do something called value addition. Because in most districts and communities, we do production of certain raw materials. For example, whether it's cashew, for example, whether it's oranges. For example, if you look in places like Ejura, for example, in Ashanti region, you notice that what they really come up with is corn. The farmers are losing these products because 1, they don't have the market, and 2, the storage is a problem. So the government wants to set up schemes to aid, facilitate, and regulate these people, and then also to, as much as possible, create what we call a marketing center for them. We have talked about this since 2008. And I'm surprised because the NDC themselves, and they have come up together with what we call the Commodity Stock Exchange. Commodity Stock Exchange was really drafted in my law firm under the NDC, headed by Hannah Tete, that we need to find a way to trade these commodities. But after that, what? Nothing is happening. Look at even your budget for this year. Kofi Adams, I don't know if you're aware of this. Are you aware that in terms of page 95, paragraph 6 of their own budget, they said they were going to allocate, okay, an amount of $20 million to agro businesses in 200 districts. They have even looked at it in terms of less than the 216 and said, we want to do this. That is just agro. We are saying industry. And they did not only fail, they did not give them the money To the extent that one of your stations today, another radio station, no need to mention the name, but those who know, on their 5:30 news today, they called the person in charge and he said, look, the government has not given them any money. And he is surprised that the same government who believe that they can do it and have announced it are now saying somebody who says, I will do it, cannot do it. So was that a hoax? Were NDC trying to lie to Ghanaians that they were going to allocate this money for agro-business? If they believe they could do it in 200 agro-businesses, MPP is saying that we can even do it better. Look, this is not the first time that we are talking about industries in this country. It was in our manifesto in 2012. It is nothing new. The only thing that Addo is saying is that we want to industrialize the nation and we are going to go from district to district for us to be able to achieve this. Now, Nanado is saying that our cocoa, for example, in the cocoa growing areas, if you look in the northern savannah, there's jute that can grow in certain areas. One thing that we need is, after growing the jute, we need jute bags for cocoa. Why don't we look at setting up some of these industries? For example, making sure that we get the raw material from the farms, or we get private industry. You know, we are enablers. Where the government, for example, realizes that not only has the private sector neglected it, they are not taking the lead, we will go in there, take the lead, and then we'll do what we call divestiture. And then when we divest it to private hands, after they see it's working, the proceeds will go into the district area. We have done these things before, and it is working. So we believe that if we make this a project where we can move from district to district, we'll be able to put this in place for the communities to benefit. Now, why can't we manufacture jute bags in Ghana if we set up jute farms, for example? This is the kind of vision we need. We don't need a situation where all we need is politicians involved in all. Anyway, you said that will be the second topic in terms of Nana Akufo-Addo saying is incorruptible and the bribe issues. But for me, the most important thing is let Ghanaians know we have the yes, we can spirit. NDC, when it came to SHS, no, you can't do it. When it came to NHIS, no, you can't do it. We found oil. Nanaba, you remember, most of your viewers, they may be young. When we brought the oil to Parliament, they say, Sajingo, we can't find oil. I mean, what kind of negativity is this? NDC, oh, you can do, you can't do. They never do anything. All they can do is, untumi on your face. Then they are always in the back wishing negative. I think that attitude should stop. What they should be telling us is, yes, one, as Kofi said here, you are saying it, we have already said it. So we can do it like this. Who is going to benefit? The youth. The people who have now formed the Non-Employment Graduate Association. They are the viewers. The viewers don't want politicians to argue and not give them jobs. They want us to give them jobs so that they will also grow up, become like us, and become politicians. We can't have a system where a politician starts right after school without any job experience and without going anywhere. But if we create a situation where it is seen as opportunism, then that is what's going to happen. The MPP does not believe in that, and I believe this should change in the nation.
Kofi, he mentioned three very important points: rural-urban migration, job creation, and value addition.
Nanaba, he has not said anything.
He hasn't?
Yeah.
He said a lot of things.
He has not said anything. What has he said?
You say yours.
Please, what has he said? You see, when I was speaking, you were interjecting. You spoke, I sat here. You said all kinds of things that are not true, but I just choose to ignore. In honor of post Nanabe's birthday, I decided today that I wasn't going to really disturb.
So post Nanaba, ignore.
He has not said anything. Nanaba, that's why I was taking you through. How do you industrialize? What needs to be done first? What is this government doing? Those are the things. And in areas where government know that it will involve a lot of labor involvement, a lot of capital investment, government has led the way. Take, for example, poultry. Everything that government have seen that we can do, we have some advantage. He has led the way to supporting to support
Kofi,
him.
that is absolutely true. But when he says that he's going to ensure that every district has an industry, for instance, you go to some areas and their mainstay is probably Gary processing, but they have an issue with lack.
We are not processing Gary.
No, there's an issue with a lack of funds for these women to start a trade. There's an issue, so many issues. There are bad rules, but he wants to make the Gary, district, the hub for Gary processing, an industry for Gary. Is that too difficult?
There are many funds that is dealing with all these areas already.
Yet these people complain?
Of course. I don't think that Addo said he's going to establish industry for every home.
No, for every district. Then the economy of that district becomes vibrant.
Where we have Gary processing, are people not complaining? Where you have Gary processing?
Well, I'm sure
districts where you have Gary processing, are people not complaining?
They are, but that's what he's talking
about. That's why I'm saying that.
That's why I'm saying
that. So people will continue to complain even when you do what it is that Nana is talking, which is already being done. So he should not paint anything.
But it will ameliorate.
You see, Mayor, I will do, and I am doing. They are not the same.
Because he's not in charge now to be doing.
So, and he's not, look, you want me, I love to take my viewers, and if I were in a class, my students through some history.
He's a teacher,
to let people know that sometimes people can easily talk. You see, we were in this country. I will list a number of promises.
Okay.
Chop bars will be converted to first-class restaurants. We will employ every young person who is willing and ready to be employed. And employment here meant white-collar jobs. They said agric was not part of it. Because at that time, the NDC have launched Youth in Agriculture project. And that was what led to massive young persons going into non-traditional cash crops, like pepper, pineapple, mangoes, fruits, those kind of things. They said, no, that is not employment. And so youth in agriculture, yes, NDC first said, NDC people say youth in agriculture, white collar job. They will employ everybody. That the size of government, please, the size of government that President Rawlings was running was too big, and that they could do with just 25 ministers, a ministry, 25 ministers. They could run this government, and that the 80 or so ministers President Rawlings was doing was too high. And that fuel prices were too expensive. These were campaign platform talk just like they are doing today. At that time, as I was telling you, the NDC have launched Youth in Agriculture project as a way of engaging young persons in employment. The NDC was doing rural electrification to send power to the rural communities to further enhance the industrialization of our like cottage industries that we are talking about. The NDC was running a government and had ministers which they criticized. The NDC was fixing fuel prices which they criticized. Nanaba, when they took over, not only did they not employ anybody, but even the agric one, because they have bastardized, failed. It took a very long time.
They didn't create any jobs. They didn't create any job opportunities.
Nanaba,
yes.
I am telling you that they should mention. Mike is seated.
NYEP.
Listen, no, NYEP is not industrialization.
But no, you talk about job creation.
NYEP, and that was in 2000, after 2004 in a way.
Okay.
NYEP, to pick people that go and direct traffic, is that industrialization that they are talking about?
No, you mentioned the issue of job creation, that they were going to create.
Danaba, do we wear tie to go and direct traffic?
Well,
they said they were going to, youth were going to wear ties to work. And if you ask them to go and do the very same thing that are already happening, youth in police, recruitment was going on already. So it wasn't something new that they created. But let me just carry on. They didn't do anything about that. Then they later asked the same young people that go and plant cassava. The very same thing the NDC was doing from 1997, which they criticized that was not employment. So if today you have a government already implementing a program that is leading to gradual industrialization, and you have somebody go and stand on a campaign platform seeking votes and telling you that he's going to build 216 factories. Factories. 216 factories.
260.
He says factories. 216 factories. He's going to build 216 factories, including Tema and other industrialized districts and metropolis that we have already. He's going to build factories in all these places.
Okay.
You should straight away look into the person's face and know that he is lying to you.
Well, how is he lying? Because you have not been able to do it?
But not because we have not been able to do it. Because it's a program that has to be done gradually, which we are doing. It's just not.
Is he speaking in a vacuum? He has a plan.
What plan? You ask them, there's no plan. Have you heard any MPP, one MPP person, who is able to tell you the plan?
But why should they highlight the plan?
After he spoke.
Especially when they think that every
he said they are not going to make any promise because somebody will take it. We have spoken to, they've interviewed Nana Komia. They've interviewed Honorable Nitiwil. They've interviewed another gentleman, I've forgotten his name. All of them seems not to know anything about how to go about it.
I think I listened to Kweku Kwate.
What did he say?
He didn't sound ignorant about it.
No, what did he say?
He actually highlighted
the
plan.
What? No, Nanaba, tell us what he highlighted that you heard. no, just help me. Nanaba, assuming that...
He didn't sound ignorant about it.
No, I'm saying that. So what did he highlight? How they are going to produce or establish 216 factories. To do what? What was he going to do in Jasika? What factory is he going to do in Jasika?
Oh, they actually promised something for Ketu South and North, right?
Ketu South and North.
Yeah.
So, and then Keta.
I'm sure they've got plans for all of them.
South Tong.
Definitely.
Tema.
Yes.
So, they have plans for, you see, so I am only telling you that I know what they do.
Aren't you all being, cynicists?
No, we are not.
Cynics.
You see, that is why, Nanaba, that's why
cynics.
I took you into history. And to tell you the difference between I am doing and someone standing and saying that I will do.
But they promised NHIA.
When the person didn't promise NHIA.
When President Kufuor was campaigning.
Look, when NDC was in power.
You campaigned that you were going to make a one-time premium. You didn't do it.
Nanaba, let me tell you about NHIS.
Okay, we'll come to that
NDC
shortly.
under President Rawlings started a pilot scheme for National Health Insurance Scheme.
Okay.
The MPP then joined Parliament. In 1997, Dr. Kwame Addo, I mentioned his full name, stood on the floor of the House when Professor Addo had come to present the report of the pilot scheme. He said, we didn't listen to their advice that national health insurance is not possible, it's not doable, and that we should allow individuals to run their own scheme. Right. Indeed, it was the NDC that ran a pilot leading to a national introduction of health insurance. Of course, we lost power in the year 2000. So then it took some time. They realized that what we did and we started was good, and President Kufuor continued. But they introduced...
But there was no point where there was a boycott by your party. At the time, President Mahama was
okay, you are talking about the boycott.
Yeah, I'll come to you.
Then they decided that they were going to do mutual district health insurance, meaning that if I were in a Fanchininko district that did not have any hospital facility, and I have worked there, and I'm registered in that district, I cannot cross to the next district to go and enjoy the health facility because they were running mutual district health insurance system. Then they were introducing a national revenue raising mechanism to support health insurance, where SNIT contribution of workers and 2.5% VAT was going to be increased across board. What it meant that, Nanaba, if I am a teacher, as I was in a rural district, and you were taking my money for health insurance, and another person was a teacher in, say, Accra here or Tema, he will be enjoying good facilities, but I could not cross to Tema to enjoy. That was what we boycotted. Okay, Mike. But it was not the health insurance.
Okay, Mike.
Well, I was actually going to deal with this issue differently, but I think I'll do a bit of mixed match because I have to respond to a few things he said, and then I'll go back to the agenda of hope and prosperity for the youth in this country, because we are not going to follow NDC into a ditch. They are so negative, they are so pessimistic, they are so cynical, they just cannot see that something can be done properly. First of all, the NHIS was done by the Catholics. The Catholic Church. You know it, I know it. It was not a government scheme.
I'm challenging your producers to call Dr. Kwame Addo.
Oh, that's not the issue.
And I will produce
the issue is,
evidence.
oh, you've already spoken. Let me just make my point. The issue was that the Catholic Church was doing it. We felt it would be good for the nation, and we brought it to the nation. We brought NHIS. You said one-time premium. As at now, you have run away from it. If you believed in NHIS, you would never have said one-time premium. And now you have run away from it. That was a future decision even after NHIS was working. So don't hoodwink Ghanaians. Now, can you imagine the NDC talking about broken promises? I mean, not all Ghanaians have short memories. So let's even just take one. Because you see, this election is about the performance of the NDC not doing well. And so the MPP is saying, you are no good, vote for MPP instead of NDC. Nana, but do you remember this particular promise? I will build 10 colleges of education by the end of my first term in office. 10 colleges of education. How many have you built?
You're asking me a question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
How many? Mention a number.
He's asked.
Well, since you cannot mention a number, it's okay. Don't worry.
No, you want me
the
to
second, no, please. I didn't ask for a sentence. You are coming to confuse Ghanaians. You have not built it. Two. Oh, don't come and give reasons.
That's the problem that
I said, how many?
That's the problem that you have.
Two. Do you remember I will build 200 community senior high schools within 4 years? You remember? Mm-hmm. Have they been able to build the 200 community schools?
There are different levels of...
And the completion and those that even... Oh, relax. Don't worry.
I'm writing it.
Write it very well. I like that. You're a good student. The 200 community high school, they've only inaugurated less than 10. And you know now, they've been telling us, oh, they'll build about 120. 60%. Disgraceful percentage. NDC.
60% is
disgraceful? Yes, disgraceful because they told us they'll build 200 community high schools. Now they are even projecting 60%. For me, that is unacceptable. They should have been able to build at least 160. Then we know that, oh, the 40 that's left, you are not able to do it. So please, when I hear NDC talk about failed promises in 2000, sometimes I wonder. I thought that's the reason why they brought you in 2008. To be able to keep your promises that you had made recent. Because I won't go to your promises from Rollins and your promises from wherever. But when you came, promises from even John Mahama, you have not been able to fulfill them. Promises from Atta Mills, your 8 years, you've not been able to fulfill them. You told us you reduced petrol drastically. Today, petrol has increased drastically. Yes, in this country. So please, let us not go into that situation. Do you know that even NDC, at one point, they also promised to build factories in every district in this country?
Did they?
Yes, NDC.
Kofi, did you?
They promised to build factories in every district in Ghana.
When was this?
And they've not been able to do it.
I don't remember.
In 2008.
Really?
Yes. And I'm very surprised that these same people today, they can come and sit here and come and tell us that.
They made that promise.
Yes.
Kofi, you made that promise.
So for me, I'm very surprised that NDC, what they are about is, they promise and they can't do. They promise 10 colleges of education, they can't do it. They promise 200 schools, they can't do it. So they think everybody is like them who would fail on that front. And I'm not going to waste my time going on pettiness and that kind of behavior. Brighten the corner where you are. Do what you can do. If you can't do it, please, talk for yourself. Don't tell me that I am not strong enough to lift this weight when I know I can do it. But maybe you have not trained, so you can't do it. How dare you tell Muhammad Ali he cannot beat Sonny Liston? That's the kind of mentality you have. We are positive. Look, Manaba, what we say is that, and I don't think he was listening to Kweku Kwatin today. These are his exact words. He says, we cannot cost transformation or industrialization. This is a perpetual and not a definite government or private and government situation. It is a process, not an event. How can you cost a process? So if today I find out that we must do this jute thing here, I even decide as a government, I want to go and invest. Commander, they've only invested 1.5 million. Do you know that the rest is private money? They shouldn't come and make noise. Only 1 point something million you invested. You know that? So let Ghanaians know when you say we did 35, whatever they be say, it's a lie. Ghanaians should remember that. Now, we are saying that if, for example, some Indians come, you know the Indians are very good with jute and teak, and they say, we want to take over the factory. You, government, you are planning a $2 million scheme. We think we can make it 40 million. Then we say no, because we told Ghanaians that we are going to spend 40 million, we are not going to make it bigger. It all depends. But the dynamics are going to be such that we are going to look at each one according to their need. Then we will industrialize accordingly. Because we know that the only way to do that is to follow the Indian and the German model. Now, what is the German model? The German model is creating jobs through specific scientific polytechnic courses. That is how we want to create that kind of job. 1. 2, we also want to create jobs in the districts.
They've been understudying the Germans, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Nana Akufo-Addo went to Germany at one point for almost about 3 months to go and understudy how they've been able to do that best practice in Europe. We want to bring best practice to Ghana. Not to sit here with Kofi and argue, you can do, I can't do, you can do, I can't do kind of thing. No. The second thing we also know is that in countries like Singapore, India, they industrialized. They built factories, microchips, buttons, this, that, and they industrialized. When we ask NDC, do you know the name Minister Rashid Pelpo? He's a minister at the presidency. He's higher than Kofi Adams. He's a minister of state policy. You are in the party. We don't pay you. So you, Kofi, are not accountable to me. He told us that they are going to create jobs by people going to cut grasses to sell. And I use the word grasses in quotes, because I wouldn't have used grasses. But he said, Ghanaians, you should go to the bush, go and cut grasses, bring it to the main road and come and sell. Nana, but didn't you hear this? Kofi Adams' party, that's their policy. Okay. And when somebody says he's going to, I think I'll ask you a few more questions before, because when he finished, you were asking him probing questions, which I welcome very much. Yes. So as I continue, he said people should go near the mountain and go and break stones, okay, and come and gather it. No, well,
please, let me tell Ghanaians.
You
have a chance to tell Ghanaians what you want to do. We are doing it. You say we are cracking stones, and you say you don't want to crack stones.
No, you are not cracking stones.
So tell us what it is that you want to do. And you are talking about our stones that we are cracking.
You are not cracking stones. Your minister told us on a public show that why are we complaining about employment? But if we want employment, we must be creative. And one of the creative ways is that we must go to the mountains. When we see the big stones, we must crack them into small stones, bring them to the roadside and sell. I'm sure Ghanaian youth are shocked.
Okay.
We should cut grass and come and sell it by the wayside.
Can I come back so that you continue?
Oh, okay.
I have to take a break.
That's fine.
I have to take a break. It's actually 8 o'clock.
Continue. Thank you.
Yes. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Mike, I'll give you the chance to land, and then I'll take some messages, and then Kofi.
Yes, so, Nana, but we want to look at this thing in its positivity. Now, when I listened to Mr. Sidu on Joy FM, one thing he said was that the government in 2014 was supposed to allocate $20 million for that. Mm-hmm. They didn't. Now, to cost the same thing, is going to cost about $35 million. So by not doing what we're supposed to have done 2 years ago, it's now going to cost us. That is if we do just the agro-business. So we believe that, one, this government has been found wanting when it comes to areas of budget allocation. If you remember NADMO, they complained that they had been allocated 62 million Ghana cedis in the 2014 budget, and yet they ended up getting only 13 million. If you remember, Get Fund has also been allocated money in the budget.
This is what you are going to use for industrializing. That's how you are going to industrialize.
Oh, but after the industrialization, before we even go on to the next topic, we have said that one, we are going to make sure that the oil money is used in that area, because we know what you did with the capacity building fund. The capacity building fund was squandered, and you used it.
He's not got anything to say.
No. Oh, let me land. You also interrupting me.
You are shifting.
Let me land. As I'm saying, when it came to capacity building money, you use the money for other things like bus branding. Very unfortunate.
Oh.
You have found, yes, they have found money for useless ventures.
It wasn't shared into people's pockets as you did.
Oh, Kofi, let me tell Ghanaians where we are going to get the revenue. You went and brought that question.
It wasn't,
so let me
answer. Shared
no money was shared
for
any serial callers.
You are not that.
Okay.
You know that
we
at least
paid
used to brand the bus to put former heads of
to
state
do their work
on it for historical information.
Relax. Now, the issue is this. Government communicators were paid to do a job. So if you call them serial callers, that's a nickname you have for them, but we know them as government communicators.
And you have to use toll recovery levy money to do that. Toll recovery levy money.
What he reminds me of? His bum is itching because he's feeling the pinches.
Toll recovery money.
Relax.
Okay.
Let me
Mike, please land quickly.
Thank you very much.
Go to the next
all this money that was found to prioritize things like judgment debts that were not even warranted in the first place. 51 million Ghana cedis, at that time $25 million. We would rather channel those kind of monies into building industry for Ghanaians to be able to benefit.
Okay.
And we feel on that note, we don't only have the money, but we also have the willpower to be able to roll it out. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jerry Coleman says, Nana Addo to build 216 factories if elected is the question he's asking. Please ask Mr. Michael Quay Jr. what His Excellency Mr. Kufuor did about establishing factories under his 8-year administration. Desperate for power doesn't mean you should make unrealistic promises. Let's go for some more messages. Incredible promise by Nana Addo. I'm wondering if Ketu Starch Factory is good for Ketu South. It's a message from, well, he calls himself Ketu South NDC. Simon Lawrence says that this factory thing is like telling me that the sun will rise from the sea and set in the sky.
Doubting Thomas. I don't blame him.
Okay. Some more messages here. Sefa says, Nana Addo has no campaign message at all. For the records, President Mahama never said free education was impossible. He said that the infrastructure was not ready for take-off. Okay, we'll go for some more messages here. This is from Deladem Divine. This is too vague a policy. Nana should come to a district and tell the people specific industries he's going to put up and not make general statements. Benjamin says, I think it is possible. Nana Addo has a good vision for the people of Ghana and he can do what he's saying. This is Benjamin Wallace speaking. Bram Vram, nice name. Bram Vram says, I don't think Nana Addo is being serious with this promise. Okay. Ketu South gentleman comes back to say, which factory is coming to Ketu South? This dream is overly ambitious and unrealistic. Well, Kofi.
Yeah, Nana, thank you very much. Mike says that when they come, and then maybe Indians come, because they are good at jute processing and they say they want to, then they will let them. So it tells you that they themselves don't even have any program. So they are waiting. When they come, and somebody comes, and these people are good.
They've seen it happen elsewhere.
Oh, Nanaba, okay, you let me just carry on. He says when they come, and then some people come. But Nanaba, I want to give you an example. That's why I told you. I am doing, and I will do. If you have to choose between these two, you will go for the I am doing, the one that is doing. What he talked about. One, very soon, you love tea and the rest. Your sugar will be from Commander. That is industrialization. That is where we have an advantage over. Very soon, our shoes, I'm told they will soon be shifting to bags also. The Kumasi Shoe Factory. That is where Ministry of Education, the security agencies are ordering all their boots from. So, indeed, people who used to get contracts by importing boots and the rest are no longer getting it because Ghana here, we are producing it. Shea nut processing in the nut factory has been established there because there is shea nut there.
Shea nut is finished in the north. Right now, as we speak, because of the weather.
But if it's finished in the north, when it is there, are they not harvesting and processing?
Cashew nuts. They released 10,000. You've forgotten. Tell him it's not working.
Will he let me?
Why are you sitting?
That is why their promise of 216 factories, even these fewer, even just one share nut, he claims that they are not getting share nut to supply it all through. Even just one. They are not getting. That's why he claims so.
Yes.
So how then are you going to establish share nut factories in every district in northern region?
Who said that?
How then are you going to do that? He says one. We are not getting share nut.
Throughout the year. But if you have a proper plan, you know what to do.
Nana, but that is why I am saying, please,
when I was talking,
let me
made you talk for 1 minute.
Let me
we have a second topic, you know.
Nana, but the issue is
Nanaba,
this. Where
I have not even spoken for.
This one is conclusion.
Let me finish. No, I don't need your conclusion. I don't need your conclusion. Right. Take a pen is before you. Take it and write. Nanaba, fish processing and fish storage institutions are being established in the coastal community. You go to Elmina now, theirs is almost complete. Recently, when President Mahama went to the western region, in some parts of the areas, he commissioned storage facilities to complement the fish harvesting project that is going on. Fish farming is also being supported inland, and that's why this cage system is coming in. And recently, you heard the Minister for Fisheries talk about shrimp cultivation, which is going to Ghana is well situated for that, and will be exporting. You see, Nanado says one thing when he meets people who are importing things. You say, "Oh, I will remove or reduce import tariffs." When he goes to meet others, "Oh, I will allow you to industrialize." If you are going to be removing import tariffs on those things that you will be producing here, how will there be competitive advantage for
But then you're giving them a boost.
Which boost? When you are reducing import tariffs, so that those who will be importing sugar to Ghana here will get tariffs taken off. How is Commander Sugar Factory going to function? How will those there will continue to get jobs? You share not processing. You are going to take tariff of those who are importing.
I think Nanado was very specific.
He wasn't specific.
On the raw materials
he
do
wasn't
not have,
specific.
On
he
the
says
raw materials
they are
that
going
are
to
not
reduce.
available.
Don't do PR.
No, I'm not doing PR.
You see,
but
you see,
he was specific.
Nanado, I'll tell you why I say he doesn't read.
Okay.
Again, on the Polytechnic Convention to Technical Universities,
right.
The technical committee came out with 16 points
right.
that a polytechnic must meet to get converted. Cape Coast Polytechnic is one of the polytechnics that is, in terms of infrastructure, they have it. They do not have any problem. Nanado goes there because they were not converted, because they did not meet the conversion criteria. Yeah. Says that, oh, the piecemeal conversion is not right. He's going to do wholesale. My brother, my sister, sorry. We are not converting just on paper. If that is what should have been done, President Mahama would have done it. But President Mahama wants to do, there's a criteria. But Nanado is a rabble-rouser. He goes to stand before the students in Cape Coast Polytechnic.
That's not fair to
No. Why will he go and make that promise? How will he go and make... Listen, there's a technical committee report. Please.
But will you want me to call President John Mahama a rabble-rouser on your show? A hooligan, a vandal? Is that what you want us to do here?
Well, he was a vandal.
There is a technical committee report.
But you allow him to continue without doing that.
Okay. I've withdrawn rabble-rouser. But Nanado doesn't read. If he had read, he would have known that there's a technical committee report which made Cape Coast Polytechnic not to qualify.
Of course.
And that committee has gone back there after they have applied and improved their governance structure to review them again. If they qualify, they will be converted.
Okay.
But he will go to stand before those students and make such a sweeping promise.
Right.
And that is... He talked about colleges that we promised.
Hey, they say all right.
That we promised.
But yours is just 1 minute.
We promised.
This is third bite to the cherry.
10 colleges. 10 colleges. 10 colleges of education.
No,
he has had more time than I've done. Please.
How?
He
10 colleges. How many
colleges of education.
Why is he going to respond everything to account?
No.
We have.
It was a critical question you asked.
Well, but then there were critical things that if I devoted my time on them, there won't be enough. So I don't have to.
So you don't want us to dedicate that time on critical things?
No, but come on, I must have my time.
So you yourself, you were not asking critical.
I must have my time as well.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So you say all right.
8 colleges of education. Nanaba, the total admissions that they were doing was just
Oh, you didn't know that before you made the promise? I mean, come on. Don't come and give us a lecture. You said you will give us 10 colleges of education.
You see that he's already doing his interjections.
Oh, no.
You asked the question, I'm answering.
All right.
And then,
So how many have you built, Kofi?
38 colleges of education.
How many of the 10 have you built? Answer the question. Oh.
We're admitting only 9,000. That is 40% of their capacity.
That is why you had that
every sensible government, when realized that.
So you were not sensible when you made this decision?
Because we were not in charge.
2012, you were in charge.
We were not
this was in 2012.
We were not in charge. At the time, we
who was in charge?
We were not in charge. It wasn't 28. It was 2008, not 2012.
No, 2012.
It wasn't 2012. Please, it wasn't 2012.
Right.
Nanaba, having come in and realized that the colleges of education were admitting just 40% of their capacity. What you do first is to make sure that they have reached full capacity. When they have reached full capacity and you still think that there's need, then you go. Currently, as we speak, at almost their full capacity, we have enough people in training that you don't have to build colleges. That's why we are focusing on the secondary education.
Let me talk small. Let me talk small.
Mike, quickly.
This has exposed that when they made that promise, I will build 10 colleges of education, they hadn't looked at enrollment, they hadn't looked at facilitation.
So that's why you are making promise of
no. That's not, so all I'm saying is that now they are backtracking.
Factories.
The same way when they made a promise of NHIS one-time premium, later they said, oh, it can't be this because la stories. They never seem to conceptualize before they bring an idea forward. And that is painful. But you know, as we are saying, we are looking at a joint combination of two things. Before the factory is set up, unlike them, where they set up a factory where there's no raw materials. Okay? Can you believe, you know the factory, the raw materials for Commander is coming from Mauritius and Mauritania. Ghana sugar.
That's another lie.
Oh, so where is the sugar coming from?
That's another lie. That's another lie being peddled.
Anyway, whatever.
You are
let me go on.
First, you said the factory was closed. Now, raw material is coming from Mauritius.
The NDC.
When will you stop lying?
When it came to setting up of districts, they were not looking at how to distribute the district assembly common fund. You know that is one thing that has been lacking. They were rather looking at how they could do gerrymandering. And those are not my words. Those are the words of President de Klerk of South Africa. They rather created districts to create a situation where constituencies will have to be formed so that in certain areas which are their strongholds, with a population of 40,000, is divided into two constituencies, 20,000 each. But you see other areas which are MPP strongholds, they have 120,000 people, but it's still not divided. So when that happened, they were getting 2 out of 1 for 40,000 and 120,000 still 1. That's what they thought of districts. So no wonder when they went and formed all these new districts, now when it came to district assembly common fund, you know how it works now? If it's district money, metropolis money. So now small district of 20,000 was getting small money as it is, but which was not enough for 80,000.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah. So, Nanaba.
K2SAF is our strongest hold. It has 140,000 just votes, not population, just votes. So it's not been divided. So what is Mike talking about?
I don't understand what you're saying.
K2SAF. It's not been divided.
I haven't said anything about
K2SAF. 140,000.
But Domi Kwabena is more than K2SAF.
You say which
Domi Kwabena is more than, but it's not divided.
I'm saying that. So why you say that we are divided?
It's not divided.
No, you are saying that we are divided.
Is bigger than K2SAF.
I am saying
so don't bring yourself.
Domi Kwabena cannot be declared as a stronghold because we all get votes there. It cannot be declared. It cannot be declared because we all get. How many votes do you get in K2SAF?
How many votes do you get in K2SAF?
Of course, we do far better than you would do in K2SAF.
Okay.
That has not been divided. So where lies your comment?
Have you finished?
30 seconds,
now,
Michael Quay.
Thank you very much for your generous time. I'll call it that. So, under the circumstances, what we don't want to bother with the NDC about is this. We have our track. We have our vision. And we have our policies that we're going to implement. One of them, for example, is that we said teacher training allowance will be reinstated. Nurses reinstated. And I was surprised. He said when we go to fishermen, then we tell them something about fishing. When we go to a farmer, then we tell teacher. But why should we go to the farmer and tell him something about a teacher?
No.
Who says
Or should I go to a journalist like
who
you
says so?
and go and tell them about teacher allowance? You are
Who
telling
says
me that to everybody we go and make new promise.
Mike, are you done
Yes, so
now?
what I want to say is that Nanado is taking care of the interest of interest groups.
Okay.
We are promising the youth not only jobs, we are promising them a certain level of technical awareness to enhance them.
Thank you, Mike. Kofi,
yes.
I'm sure you've listened to the Ghana Integrity Initiative, a lady who's talked about, this issue of corruption.
Yeah.
She says that President Mahama must return that car, that Ford.
Return to who?
Sender.
To the owner.
President Mahama has since given the vehicle to the state. So it is suggested that the state should reject what the president was given.
Why
as
was
a
it
gift
taken in
and
the first place?
Why shouldn't it be taken? Why? In this country, we should not take gift. Is that what we are saying?
Well, because there's an issue of conflict of interest.
How? Where is the conflict?
For a contractor who was later given a job.
How? The contractor have had jobs long before even he offered the gift. That's also another falsehood that people are peddling.
Which one?
Every contract that he has had, he had it before he offered the gift. The EU supervised project of Dodi Pepesu to Nkwanta Road. It was in 2011 that those bids were opened. Okay? The fencing of the
When did they win that bid?
Please. I said in 2011. And it was EU supervised. EU supervised. So EU, President Mahama called EU. The contract process, they were supervised and said, hey, EU, give this contract to this person. That's
Nana, but today it looks as if you don't want to check us all. Nana, but yes, but the story says that the man had not got a contract from 2003. In 2010, he went to salute the president. Then 2011, he gets 2 contracts, and you are not asking him
Let him make his point.
don't let him go free like this.
Let him make his point.
He's not making any point that you are not. You should check him.
His point. Let him make his point. Michael Kwe.
Nanaba.
Yes.
Drug barons were having problems in this country. All of a sudden, they invite Nanado to their hotels.
Oh, no.
Give him bicycles.
No.
And then when he's going into an election,
I'm not sure
then they get arrested.
Baron who gave Nanado.
Le Baron. We were told by Kededia Japan that he called Nanado that he gave him bicycles. Le Baron is in jail now for drugs.
Has he given Le Baron a contract?
I'm saying Le Baron is in jail.
Did
he win the elections?
No.
Did he win the elections?
No, but
why were drug dealers interested in financing an ex-campaign?
And he gave him.
Why were I'm talking about things that he gave him. And money, of course. Canada Japan said bicycles, motorbikes, monies, and the rest. Why are drug dealers willing to support Nanado's campaign?
Well, I'm not sure of drug dealers willing
they
to
are in jail now. Le Baron is in jail now.
Yes. Nanado,
so that is the logic. That is the logic of
Nayeli Ametepe.
That is the logic of
Do you know Nayeli Ametepe?
That is the logic.
Do you know that
that is the logic of my wife.
Do
you know the people who pass through VVIP?
Is she your person?
Do you know the people who pass through VVIP?
Yeah, we know the people you are allowed to pass there.
Do you know?
We know.
We know. When they are traveling.
We know.
So that is Mike's logic.
So he won't return the gift.
I'm saying that. That is Mike's logic.
The anti-corruption campaigners have been saying.
You see, you have to establish something before you take an action. So far, nobody.
You think it's much ado about nothing?
Not just much ado about nothing, but Nanaba, they have not been able to establish any linkage of whether there's a personal gain, conflict of interest, or anything. Nothing.
Okay, Mike, over to you now.
Thank you very much. First of all, this is just a simple story because of time. A certain man from 2003, okay, he has been coming up and down to Ghana. He meets a man called Mike Addo. He tells him, I've been struggling to get contracts since 2003. This is 2010. The man says, don't worry, I'll introduce you to a certain man. His name is John Mahama. He's the vice president. So he says he went to salute him. After saluting the president, within 2 years to 2012, the man had got 2 contracts.
Did he get the contract through a fair process?
I'm coming.
Did he get it through a fair process?
The people to listen and make their mind
up. Did he get the contract through a fair process?
Let me finish.
Was there a bidding?
Let me finish.
Was there a bidding process?
Let me finish.
Okay.
So I'm telling you a story. So this man, after going to salute President John Mahama, vice president then, by the time President John Mahama is president, the man has 2 contracts. You know one of the contracts he got?
Through what process?
Oh.
He got the contract.
He's got contracts.
Through what
I'm now coming to come to
Was
the
it
process.
gifted?
Through what process?
Was the contract
Do you know the contracts he got?
One of them. They asking you, was the contract gifted or
you never tell
tender
Adams to keep quiet.
Coffee, please let him make his point.
No, but he's not making a complete point. Leaving things vague. Yes, the man got a contract, but through what? Competitive bidding process.
He is building a case.
Building what? Do you have the time for him to leave such
yes,
loopholes?
Yes, he has the time.
You don't have the time. And let the loopholes stay in people's minds.
Yes. So, viewers, I know it's an attempt to stop me from saying.
I'm not stopping you. I'm not saying let them know that it was through competitive bidding.
So, Ghanaians, do you know that a contractor in Ghana went to build a wall, okay, for a piece of land that was secured before NDC came to power? Okay? They built the wall for $650,000.
That's
your
not
point
true.
is?
My point is that
$650,000
that is times 4.
That is not true.
Almost 2 points.
That is not true.
That is not.
What was the amount?
Look, so the contract.
Can I land?
353 million safer.
Okay.
Making noise.
353 million
safer. This is not true. Oh, look at him. This even came to pack.
You remember that?
Do you remember that Public Accounts Committee went to Kofi, what you are doing
was the dollar transfer to the Burkina mission, not the contract. Not the contract. Don't misinform your viewers. Don't misinform the viewers.
Okay, Mike, don't misinform.
$650 million to build a wall. NDC, that's what they did.
So now,
after this, can you believe? It's never safer.
Can you believe safer? The contract was awarded in safer.
Bank of Ghana was even asked.
There were 3 contractors who
the conversion is dollars.
AEISL were the consultant of Ghana.
So now, basically, this is what happened. This same man sends a Ford expedition to the government. And I want the listeners to listen to this again. Something that has been given to the state, you go and pay duty on it. Nanaba,
did you say that was
anybody that's given to the state? Wait, you are claiming.
Was given
wait.
It was given to President Mahama. It was a gift to President Mahama, who then gave it to the state.
So he accepted the gift,
of course.
Okay. So then, therefore, he has been compromised.
How?
If he accepted the gift on his own accord, he has been compromised because wait, it is what we call afterthought. After accepting the gift, you are not allowed to accept a gift for yourself. Okay, go and pay taxes on it, and then you say that you are giving it to the state. There's inconsistency.
How?
So wait, he accepted it.
How?
Then he paid duty. Daniels, listen to this. He paid duty. Then after that, he went to so-called give it to the state.
Are you serious?
We are not buying that.
About what you are? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Are you serious about what you are saying?
What is wrong with it?
What is wrong is that it means that there was an attempt to keep it for himself.
How?
Because Nanaba,
and he didn't keep it to himself.
Wait. Any state car that is in the pool has no duty. You remember when Gaddafi came to dash Ghana a car? Did they pay duty?
No.
Thank you. No duty. Oh, Kofi Adams, what you are doing there?
Okay.
I can see them. No, come on. You can't tell me when I'm finished.
2 minutes
Let me, yes, 2 minutes.
Let me finish. 2 minutes is not for you, by the way.
Finish.
Oh,
the way Kofi Adams is behaving, he's not allowing me to tell the story of gifts that have become a bribe. They should let us
So what you're saying basically is that because he paid taxes on this gift,
duty,
and later added it to the national pool.
Let me even tell you another part because I don't want. Do you know that when they asked Mr. Kanazoe that have you given the Ghana president or ambassador a car? Initially he said no. He hasn't done that.
Who asked?
Who asked? Kofi Adams, come on, man. Stop this. I want Nanaba. You remember? I want to chat to Nanaba, to Ghanaians. You understand because your mind is one way. Nanaba, do you remember?
Kofi, I'm coming to you.
Wait, next minute. Nanaba, do you remember? Good. Why did he lie?
I don't know.
Then when they brought the letter to him, then he said, okay, I gave it to President Mahama. It was a gift. Why did you give him the gift? Not because I want to do something for Ghana, because he is my friend. How did he become your friend? Somebody you didn't know in 2010, all of a sudden, he's your friend.
But how do you make friends?
How do you make friends?
No, wait.
How do you make friends?
You don't apply to be friends.
He made a good friend. But you know how? Friend after contract.
Okay.
That's the friendship they have.
Okay, you have the last
Contract
word.
friends.
So what you're saying is that friends with benefits.
Friends? Oh, Nana, but you see, sometimes when you go to school, you are able to understand the issue. Friend with contract benefits.
Okay, Kofi, you have the last word.
Benefits.
I don't know about that one.
It is very, very clear. The documentation.
But Nana, I had 2 more points I wanted to raise.
No, we are out of time.
But you know that he spoke first. I've spoken second. I'll have a second bite to the cherry.
No, we are
no,
done.
That is only fair. He can't respond. No, Nana, but I want the rules to be clear. Rules of engagement. Will I have a second bite to the cherry?
No.
Why not?
It's 8:30.
No, but then he can't speak again because why should he respond to me and then I can't respond?
Coffee quickly.
If you decide to make noise for the program, you can
Coffee
go
quickly.
ahead.
Oh, no,
I'm actually being asked
No, it's not how I want. I just want to be sure
Coffee, please, quickly.
that the rules of engagement allow me to have a second bite of the cherry.
Coffee, actually, I have to go.
But please, can I have a second bite after he's gone?
No, time.
Oh, how?
Time is up. I say, check you.
But please, when you have the program, it must be that the person who speaks first.
Nanaba.
The other person speaks first.
Nanaba, even when your credits are rolling out, you see, PC Appeal for it has said something significantly.
That?
Say, he knows the person, President John Dramani Mahama. One, you cannot corrupt him. He is not corrupt. PC Appeal for it has not opened his mouth to say same for Nanado.
Now, Martin Hamidou has said that John Mahama is corrupt. Martin Hamidou is not a senior member of NDC. He was a former Attorney General. He says
he
says you are corrupt.
And everywhere you go, we'll see you same time tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening.